All right, everybody, welcome into part 2 of the Where to Live in East Tennessee series that I've put together for you guys. Again, this is, I'm putting this together to give you guys an idea of where to focus in on whenever it comes to moving to the area. It's a very big area, and I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, so we're doing everything we can here to help out with that. So in the first video, we talked about attractions, all the cool stuff that people love about East Tennessee, the mountains, the lakes, the rivers, parks. So if you have hobbies, or just interest in any of that, then definitely give that one a watch because it's going to be very helpful. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of map stuff here. And the reason is because I want to give you guys an idea of where this stuff is. So where is the mountain bike park in comparison to, the town that you want, and where's the lakes you want to fish, all that good stuff. That's what we're doing here. So in this video, we're actually going to be going through and we're going to be breaking down the different counties, and we've got 13 of them. So spoiler alert, this is going to be a long video, okay? Long one. Not the most exciting, but it's going to have a lot of really good information, or at least I hope so. So you're going to hear me talk about different towns, and I'm going to categorize them into 3 different categories. We're going to have small, medium, large. Okay, and this is just my opinion. I don't know how the world classifies this stuff, but how I'm classifying it is a small town is going to be a town that's small, doesn't really have all your conveniences. You may have to drive, a bit to get different things. That doesn't mean you're driving 30, 45 minutes, but you may have 10 minutes to the next town, 20 minutes to the next town, or something like that. And then a medium-sized town, I'm going to say, is a town that has basically all the essentials, right? So between online shopping and what you have in town, you basically have everything you need. Maybe you have to go to a bigger town for certain, specialist or something like that. But for the most part, you have everything you need within your town. And then a large town is going to be a town that has everything you need, plus. You've got, options, I guess. So with that, we're going to start just north of Knoxville. And in this video, I am not going to be talking about Knoxville. I'm going to do a whole video on Knoxville, probably the next one. But for this one, we're just staying in the counties that I cover around Knoxville. Okay. And now before I start, I do have to, start mentioning this. Listen, I do not make very much money at all from YouTube. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I do this as a means to connect with you guys. I make my living helping people buy and sell real estate. So all that I ask is if you've liked the material that I make, if you like this content, then just give me the opportunity to earn your business whenever it comes to, you and your family making your move. That's all I ask for. So with that, let's finally get started. Sorry, longest intro ever. But, got to kind of set the playing field, I guess. So we're going to start off in Campbell County. Okay, this is going to be north of Knoxville, and this is going to stretch basically right above this Rocky Top area all the way to the Kentucky border. Now, if you watched my other video, you know that you've got the North Cumberland WMA up there, which is awesome. You've got Norris Lake over here as well. So basically, you've got some really cool stuff to the north and to the south of you in Jacksboro-La Follette. Now, or Campbell County. Campbell County. There's more than just Jacksboro-La Follette there, but those are the 2 notable towns, and I'm going to rank them as a medium-sized town. You got everything you need, and honestly, it's even kind of you've even got some options up there. There's a hospital in La Follette. There's a lot of stuff. The population of Campbell County is 40,223 people, to give you an idea. And again, this is the population for the counties. So when I give you that number, don't freak out if it says 50,000. That's not for one town, that's for the county, right? Okay, so that's the town. Now, the general vibe that I get in Jacksboro-La Follette is just kind of like small Appalachian town. Very beautiful. You've got lots of lake stuff. You've got some beautiful mountain views out there. It's a huge outdoors area because, people, you've got the lake where you can fish, have that lake life, camp, all that good stuff. You've got the WMA where you can ATV. There's a shooting range. You can hunt, all that great stuff. So that's kind of the vibe that I get in Jacksboro-La Follette. And again, it's got most everything that you need. The only downside I would say to Jacksboro and La Follette is that you can be a little bit of a poke away from Knoxville, especially if you're like deep into the La Follette area. And then it becomes one of those things where if you need, specialists that aren't up there, you've got to go to Knoxville. Are you going to be okay with that drive time? Because you could be pushing, an hour in some cases. Another thing about Jacksboro La Follette is it's very mountainous up there. If you're someone who wants a bunch of flat land, not saying it's not up there, because you can find flat land out there, but it's mountainous. So that's more of what you're going to get. You know what I mean? So let's move on to our next county, and that is going to be Union County. So as you can see here on the lake, Union County is basically just the opposite side of Norris Lake, right? So you've got towns like Maynardville and Luttrell, both of which I would say are small towns, okay? So in this Union County area, you're going to find yourself probably driving to like Halls, Powell. There's some things around the Corrington, Blaine area. There's some things up in Tazewell, but for the most part, you're going to find yourself probably driving, like I said, to the Powell area more than likely. There's a hospital down there. There's a bunch of shopping and stuff. But Maynardville, I would say very similar to Jacksboro La Follette, in that it's kind of a small mountain town. It's smaller than Jacksboro La Follette for sure. So the people that are going to love Maynardville are going to be the people who want to be close to the lake, who want to be in that smaller town and have that small town feel. And just to give you an idea how small it is, it's actually the smallest one. The population's coming in at 20,741. Now, with that being said, it's not a very heavily populated area because there's not a lot of residential land there. If you look at the map here, you see a large chunk of it is taken up by Chuck Swan State Park and Norris Lake. So it's, smallest population, but also maybe the smallest area. So let's move on to the next county, and the next county is going to be Granger County. And Granger County is going to be coming in with a population of 24,681. Now, Granger County, we're kind of just moving in a circle, so you're neighbors to Union County. Granger County, really, you've got like the Rutledge area, you've got Blaine. Blaine, I would say small town, small to medium. Rutledge, small to medium. You've got some stuff in there, not a lot. The good thing about this area is the price point is typically pretty good. It's beautiful out here. You can see you have the whole kind of north side of Cherokee Lake, and Cherokee Lake is a gorgeous body of water. It really is. It's very pretty. You've got some pretty rolling hills, mountains out there. So it's a beautiful area. My only downside here to Granger County, because Granger County, the population out there is 24,681, so it's very small as well. And you can see that this is actually a pretty big area, so it's just a small population spot here. But I would say the only thing is, like, if you're over here near Jefferson City, you're going to have pretty decent access to stuff. And if you're down in the bottom, like in the Blaine area, you're going to have, pretty decent access to stuff. Now, if you're up here, kind of in the Washburn, Rutledge area, it can be a poke to get somewhere. So especially if you need to be in Knoxville, for different specialists, it could be a little ways. Now, you do have a bridge that goes over Cherokee Lake, and if you live kind of in that vicinity, kind of the Bean Station area, you can get to Morristown pretty quickly, which would have a fair amount of stuff as well. So the overall kind of vibe here, I would say, is just small town country, Cherokee Lake type deal. Now, let's move on to our next county, and that is going to be Hamlin County, and this is going to be the county in which Morristown is in. Now, here we have the opposite side of Cherokee Lake, right, the south side, and you've got Morristown. Now, Morristown is going to be our first large town. Morristown is going to have a good amount of stuff, right? Now, of the 4 large towns we have in my area, it is the smallest, okay? Your population is coming in at Hamlin County at 66,216. That's the biggest we've seen so far, but you'll see that's not big in comparison to some of the other larger counties we have. You've got a lot to love out there, right? Morristown has basically everything that you need. You've got Cherokee Lake, which is gorgeous, and you're not too far away from the Cherokee National Forest, which we talked about a lot in the last video. So, there's a lot of cool stuff in this vicinity. You also have Douglas Lake, which isn't too far. So if you're someone that wants to do some exploring of these lakes, fishing, kayaking, whatever it may be, you've got a lot of options, which is great. The only downside to Morristown, I would say, is that if Morristown doesn't have what you need, like let's say, again, you want a specialist in Knoxville, or you want to go to a concert in Knoxville, or whatever, you've got a bit of a drive. It's further out than any of the other 4 that we're going to talk about. So that would really be the only negative, I would say. A positive would be if you have family or something that lives like up in the Tri-Cities area and you want to be a little closer to there, then, that does put you on that section. If you've got family in North Carolina on that side, maybe that could be helpful as well. So let's move on to the next county. We're going to be talking about Jefferson County now. Now, Jefferson County is pretty cool, and Jefferson County has a couple different vibes, okay? Because you've got kind of the bottom end of Cherokee Lake, as you can see right here where Jefferson City actually is, and then you've actually comes all the way into Dandridge. So you have most of Douglas Lake in Jeff County as well. So I would say over like on the Jefferson City side, for whatever reason, if you look at the terrain feature area, you can see it's a little bit flatter as far as the foothills and the terrain in general in our area. Like a lot, it's not as mountainous as say like a Jefferson or say like a Jacksboro, La Follette, or maybe even like a Sevierville. So you've got a little bit flatter stuff in there, and so again, you definitely have mountain stuff out there, but I tend to feel like a little bit more of like a farmland vibe, and you have farms everywhere. Don't get me wrong. There's farms in Jacksboro, La Follette, but it just feels like you've got a lot more like huge farms, like big, you can see a little bit more in some areas. It just seems a little different out there, more like a farm town, which I actually really dig. And I would consider Jefferson City a medium-sized town. You got a Walmart, you got a Lowe's, you got a lot of options up there. And the good thing about Jefferson City too is you have Morristown, which is just up the road from you in one direction. And you've got Knoxville. It's a little bit further of a poke, but not too bad in the other direction. So good price point up there. It's cool. You got Cherokee Lake and Douglas Lake. And if you wanted like a bunch of land that was a little bit flatter, you probably would have more inventory in this area versus some others. Now, to get to kind of the opposite vibe, you've got, and I wouldn't say opposite, but down in Dandridge, it's actually is a lot more mountainous. And because of that, I think that Dandridge is one of the most beautiful towns that we have around. It has Douglas Lake, which is gorgeous. It's got lots of pretty mountain views. The downtown part of Dandridge is really cute. It's nice. It's historic. So, I really like Dandridge a lot. I think there's a lot to love about it. I would say the only negative is you can be a little bit far out, and I would consider Dandridge to be on that borderline of small to medium size town. Depending on where you are in Dandridge, you're probably going to have to drive a bit to get stuff. And one of the negatives can be if you're not on the section of Dandridge that's close to the interstate, it can be an even further drive. You could be looking at 30, 45 minutes to get places. But you've got Jefferson City to the north of you, which is going to have some options. There's a hospital and different things up there. You've got Knoxville, which is going to be to the west of you. And then you've got Morristown, which is going to be kind of northeast of you. And then you even have Sevierville, which is going to be kind of southwest of you as well. So you can see there, you've got different places you can shoot off to access different things. It can just feel a little far out, but again, there's a lot to love with all the beauty. The price point's pretty good out there in comparison as well. I don't know if I said this, Jefferson County, the population's 57,838. So, it's a big section, but, also you have a fair amount of population in there. Still definitely would consider it more rural. So the next county that we're going to be talking about is Cocke County. Cocke County's coming in at 37,404 on the population. Now in Cocke County, really the towns of note here, I would say, is Newport. Newport, I would consider a medium town. Now it is on the smaller side of that medium scale, but you have everything you need. I think there's even like a Marshall's over there now. You got Parrottsville there too, which, it's probably a couple dollar stores over there, and I should say there's going to be dollar stores everywhere. This is the South. Good Lord. But, a large chunk of Cocke County is taken up by the Cherokee National Forest, which again, if you watch the last video, you kind of know all the cool opportunities there. And then you also have a little chunk of Douglas Lake roped in here. So I would reiterate some stuff from Douglas. Newport is a little bit closer to the Cherokee National Forest. So if that's something that's of interest to you, then Newport would be, probably a fine place to check out. That's pretty much it for it. So we're going to move on to the next county, which is going to be Sevier County, and Sevier County is going to be our second large. Sevier County will house Sevierville, and that's going to be our second large town. So Sevier County's got a population of 99,415, and Sevier County is going to have several different vibes, right? Because you're going to have basically from Kodak, if you follow kind of the 66 all the way down, you go through Sevierville, you go through Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. This is going to be like a lot of touristy stuff, right? I'm going to say for me, that's a negative because, I'm not that type of guy, but it also can be a positive because I say that, but we still go up there a couple times a year for different things. We took our daughter up to Gatlinburg, for our first family trip. We wanted to do something closer to home. It was cool. We had bears, behind our condo. We could walk downtown. It was cool. And with that, you get a ton of different shops like Smoky Mountain Knife Works. My God, if you're a redneck, go there. It's awesome. Bud's Guns, cool. Bass Pro Shops down there. The largest Buc-ee's in the world is in Kodak. So you've got some cool stuff there. But if touristy stuff isn't really your thing, you could kind of live in the outskirts of this. There is a really good job market. So if your job has anything to do with whatever's up there, there's good opportunity. But so that's kind of the Sevierville side. Sevierville is absolutely gorgeous. You're so close to the Smokies. You have so many beautiful mountain views. You've got lots of little rivers and streams that flow through there. So it's a beautiful place. So that's kind of the Sevierville side. Another vibe I would say is you've got Seymour over here. I tell a lot of people I think that Seymour is a wonderful place for anyone looking for a small country town but wants to, that's okay with driving a little bit, that wants options, or people that are retiring to the area because, again, you have so many options. So you could go downtown Knoxville for a night and you're 10-15 minutes away. You could go hang out in Maryville for a little bit, 10-15 minutes away. You could, send your family, your visitors up to Sevierville to enjoy some of the touristy stuff and have fun. And again, 10-15 minutes away depending on where you are. So Seymour is really cool again, and it's very beautiful as well. Lots of mountain stuff. Really cool. And then there is a whole nother vibe too down here in Wears Valley, kind of Wears Valley, Townsend, sort of the same kind of area. This is what's considered like the peaceful side of the social. That's actually Townsend's slogan, but Wears Valley's right there. You've got a little bit of touristy stuff in there. There's like a moonshine spot. There's a food truck park. There's probably going to be more development down there. But I will say Wears Valley is one of the most beautiful areas that you will drive through. When we go to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and stuff, we drive through Townsend through Wears Valley to get there. And it's one of my favorite drives ever. If you don't like curvy roads, you won't like it. But man, you get some beautiful views right there near the park. So Sevier County, let's move on to our next one, which is going to be Blount County. And Blount County is going to be the biggest, as far as population goes, the largest that we have. Blount County is coming in at 141,456 people as far as population goes. Now, towns of note in Blount County are going to be Maryville, Alcoa. Really, Maryville and Alcoa are kind of the same deal. I'm just going to say large town. You have so much stuff in Maryville now. I mean, there's the movie theater, the mall. They just built a BJ's, which is basically Costco. You have the airport in Alcoa, which is technically the Knoxville airport, but it's in Alcoa. There's so many restaurants here. I live in Maryville. We forget about them. It's like you're trying to think of where to eat and you forgot about a whole dang section, and they're still building new stuff. So downside of Maryville is it's getting a little busier. The population's getting higher. But I would say the positive to it is with all of that comes like a lot of cool stuff. Like we have a really great greenway system. I kind of spoke about this in the last video, so watch that. But the downtown area is cute. Again, there's so much to do, and you can still get that kind of country feel. You can actually get a very country feel if you just get 10-15 minutes outside of the city. So that's kind of where I live. Now, I love Maryville because you're not too far from Knoxville. So I work in real estate. Obviously, there's a huge job market in Knoxville. I want to capitalize on that, and I do. Maryville, has a good population. But also, you've got the Smoky Mountains on the other side of you. I love to go up in the park, and do different things. And then you can see here, you kind of have like a whole half circle that goes around Blount County of lakes. You've got Fort Loudon, you've got Tellico, you got Chilhowie. So for me, it's just situated in an area that's kind of perfect. We've tried to find reasons to leave Maryville, and it's hard, right? Won't be for everybody. Like I said, if you want kind of a smaller town, you can get that in Maryville if you live outside of it. But if you don't want like a busy place where you're shopping and stuff, then it might not be the best for you. It also, the price point's kind of creeping up there as well. Okay, and the last town I'm going to talk about in the Blount County area is going to be Townsend. Again, peaceful side of the Smokies is their slogan. We love Townsend. We drive there all the time. It's beautiful because it's right in the park, and it's a lot of people know Townsend because it's the last town that you go through before you get into the Great Smoky National Park. So if you're not going from the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge side, you're probably going from the Townsend side, and you've got places like Cades Cove, the Y, just a bunch of different cool stuff up in the park. But Townsend itself has become a really fun place to go, especially they do different events, hot air balloons, Bigfoot Festival, stuff like that. So Townsend's a cool little area, cool little part of Blount County as well. So now we're going to move on to our next county, and that's going to be Monroe County. And Monroe County is going to come in at 48,594 on the population number there. And in Monroe County, we're going to get towns like Vonore, Madisonville, Tellico Plains, and even Sweetwater. So here we're going to break this up into, the three towns I'm going to note are basically Madisonville, medium-sized town, got mostly everything you need. Country, it can be very beautiful in certain areas. You've also got Tellico Lake there. Price point's good because you're a little further out. And then, so if you go north of that, you hit Sweetwater. Sweetwater's a really kind of charming little country town. Their downtown area is super cool. It's small, but like there's a really nice creamery there. There's a coffee shop, stuff like that. I mean, it's nothing fancy, don't get me wrong, but it just seems kind of cute. It's that like small town, downtown feel, you know what I mean? Sweetwater is also kind of like Jefferson City. I feel like it's a little flatter than most. So you have a lot more like farmland, which I love. I think that's awesome. The only thing I would say about Sweetwater is, if you're someone that wants to enjoy the lakes, it's a little bit further away. I mean, not too bad. You're probably 20 minutes from Tellico. If you're someone that wants to enjoy the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, you're poke away there as well. You do have the South Cherokee National Park, and if we come down here to Tellico, which is the third town we're going to talk about in Monroe County, Tellico is the town that's within the park. You guys have probably heard me say it before. Tellico Plains is one of my favorite places on earth. Families from there. We've got a little bit of land down there, and it's just a special place, man. I mean, for me, you guys could feel completely different. The problem with it is that it's far away from stuff. I mean, you basically have to drive to Athens or Madisonville, and depending on where you are, it could be, as close as, 15, 20 minutes. It could be as far as an hour, depending on where you are in Tellico Plains. So it's just a little far out from stuff. That's the biggest problem, but price point's good. Very country town, small. I don't even know if there's actually a red light in Tellico Plains, but they have a cool little downtown area. They do Trout Fest down there. So that's a cool little spot. And again, if you watched my last video, there's all kinds of cool opportunities down there. So the next county is going to be McMinn County, coming in at 55,678 on the population scale. And McMinn County is going to be basically this section over here of Athens. You've got Englewood, kind of getting down here into the Etowah area. This area is It's really country, you're a little further out, and that's probably the downfall. That's probably why the price point is a little bit lower as well. You do have, the South Cherokee National Forest, if that's of interest to you down there. Other than that, not much going on. You have the Chickamauga Lake, to the west of you a little bit. You've got Watts Bar Lake to the north a little bit. You've got the Hiwassee River, which is nice. The Ocoee Rivers down in that general area too. So there's some cool stuff to explore. Don't get me wrong, but it's just in general, there's not a lot going on out there. So if that's your speed, then go for it. I would say Athens is a medium-sized town. You do have a hospital. You've got, some different things going on there. So, you've got your essentials nearby. You don't necessarily have to go unless, again, you want a specialist or something like that. And then you're going to either have to drive to Chattanooga or you're going to have to drive to Knoxville. More than likely, I guess technically it could be anywhere. You could have a specialist in the middle of nowhere, I suppose. Our next county we're going to be talking about is going to be Loudon County, coming in at 60,591. Loudon County is going to have some different vibes to it as well, okay? And one of those vibes is going to be right along Tellico Lake. This is going to be the Tellico Village, Rarity Bay, kind of that, we can't technically label things 55 and up, but it's got that feel to it. Now, with that being said, younger people are moving in. And just so you know, in Tennessee, we don't have 55 and up neighborhoods because there's like a non-discriminatory deal or whatever. You can't discriminate on where people can live based on their age, which I think is a good thing. But with that being said, there are some younger people that are living down there because there's so many amenities. There's 3 golf courses in Tellico Village. There's one in Rarity Bay. There's the village has, marinas, restaurants. You've got all kinds of cool stuff in this area. If that's something of interest to you, if you don't mind kind of the HOA neighborhood stuff, but you want like that community feel, you want like stuff to do, there's always things going on. There's clubs for freaking everything down there. It's a cool place to retire. I definitely think so. So that's a vibe in Loudon. And then you also have like over here in this Philadelphia area, like a very like country, like small town vibe, right? You've got Watts Bar Lake on one side, you've got Tellico Lake on the other, so you've got a lot of lake stuff there. And then you even have Lenoir City, which has a whole another vibe. Lenoir City is awesome because, gosh almighty, if you're a fisherman, like if you like bass fishing or anything in like the bigger lakes, it's hard to think of a better place to live than Lenoir City because you got Fort Loudon, Tellico, Watts Bar, and Melton Hill that are all technically go through Loudon. It's crazy. Or I'm sorry, yeah, Lenoir City and Loudon. I would say Loudon too is a medium to large size town. You have everything you need plus some. And the wonderful thing about Lenoir City is your next door neighbors to West Knoxville, which has probably the best shopping, really good health, just all the great stuff, right? So that's going to be Loudon. Now we're going to move on over to Roane County. Roane County's got a population of 56,096 folk. And in Roane County is going to be all around Watts Bar Lake. Watts Bar Lake is one of the biggest lakes that we have in all of Tennessee. There's a lot to love about it. It's very country out there. You get a lot of rolling hills, a lot of mountain stuff. You've got a lot of lake stuff. It can be a very beautiful area. The towns of note, you're going to have Rockwood, Harriman, Kingston, that's pretty much it. And between the 3, you basically have everything you need. There's a hospital up there, Walmart, a Lowe's. There's a handful of restaurants. There's more than a handful of restaurants. There's a fair amount of stuff up there. The closer you live to 40 here, the better too from a convenience standpoint, because this 40 will take you straight to West Knoxville, which again has, as much stuff as you could need. I would certainly imagine. And again, the feel out there, I would say lake town / country town. You got a little bit of mountain town in there, a little bit of farm town, a little bit of all the good rural country stuff out there. Okay, and then the last one we're going to talk about is going to be Anderson County, coming in at 80,234 in the population scale. This is going to grab our last large town, which is going to be Oak Ridge. So of note here, basically you have Oak Ridge and Clinton. And you have Rocky Top as well. Rocky Top, I'd say small town. Clinton, medium town. Oak Ridge, large town, right? The great thing about Oak Ridge is you've got just a ton of stuff there, from a convenience standpoint. The price point's not terrible. You've got Melton Hill Lake, which provides, some nice parks, things like that. And the thing that I like about Oak Ridge is you're closer in vicinity to Knoxville than any of the other 4 large towns. So again, if you need a special, if you need something else, you've got access, quick access, and especially more specifically to West Knoxville, which is great. Oak Ridge had the vibe there is, that whole town was kind of thrown together to build the atomic bomb back in World War II. So you've got a lot of engineer type minded people out there. Lots of people work at the lab. It's got its own little vibe to it. It really does. And in parts, it feels really cool. There is a lot to love about Oak Ridge. I would say, especially if you're someone who's into four-wheeling and things like that. Because like Jacksboro and La Follette, just to the north of Oak Ridge, you have Windrock, which is a huge mountain biking, outdoors, ATVs and stuff like that. And then Melton Hill Lake too. I mean, if there's something specific about Melton Hill Lake, which I'm not going to share any secrets, but there's some cool stuff about Melton Hill Lake. But if you know the secret and you're into that, then Oak Ridge could be a wonderful place for you there. Moving up to Clinton. Clinton is a super cute little town. Beautiful parks. The downtown area is super cool, and Clinton is known for antiquing. So if you're into that whole thing, there's even an antiquing festival there every year. Rocky Top, not much to say about Rocky Top. It's Rocky Top, and it's there. That is going to be. Oh, that was a lot. I hope I didn't bounce around too much and get too crazy with you. I don't know. I have to rewatch it to see how it went, but I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. If y'all have any questions about anything, just let me know. And if you want a more specific breakdown, maybe a little bit more detail about each of these towns, then go through my channel and see. I mean, I've got videos going over Jacksboro, La Follette. I've got videos going over Kingston and Rockwood and Oak Ridge and Maryville and Clinton. I've got all kinds of videos out there that you can go watch to get a more general idea or more specific idea of what those towns are like. Like I said, in this one, I wanted to do this just so you could get an idea of what each kind of section is like, right? So you can kind of go through there and see if you watch part 1, where all the cool stuff is. And if you watch part 2, what these different counties are like. So you can kind of start to piece things together. So again, if you have any questions, please give me a call. That's what I'm here for. I love talking to you guys. I will gladly sit down and talk about whatever town you want to and fill you in to the best of my knowledge. But with that, I've got to get some water because I'm hoarse now. That was a lot. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.